What if the climate crisis isn't just about saving the planet, but about controlling you? Behind the slogans of sustainability and green living, some believe there's a darker agenda, one where your travel is tracked, your energy use is rationed, and your life is regulated, all in the name of saving Earth. Is the push for a greener world truly about the environment, or is it a cover for global control? Let's dig into the theory that the green agenda is less about nature and more about power. Climate policies as tools of control. At the surface, green policies aim to reduce emissions, protect biodiversity, and create a more sustainable future. But according to this theory, they're increasingly being used as a pretext to reshape how people live, travel, and consume, not through choice, but through restriction. The fear isn't just about carbon taxes or fuel regulations. It's about a future where every action has a government-approved environmental rating, and those who fail to comply are penalized socially or economically. Critics point to proposals like banning internal combustion engine cars, phasing out air travel, and imposing restrictions on meat consumption not as environmental necessities, but as deliberate tools to limit personal freedom. The idea is that by framing these changes as essential for planetary survival, governments and institutions can enforce unpopular restrictions without public backlash. Some go further, claiming that green laws are designed to create dependence on state-approved transport, state-monitored utilities, and state-controlled digital services. Under this view, climate policy becomes a Trojan horse. It looks like a solution to global warming but allegedly hides an agenda of behavioral control, mass compliance, and central planning. The theory paints a future not of green innovation, but of green submission. Where you don't just live sustainably, you're forced to. The role of global elites and institutions. At the heart of this theory lies a powerful accusation that the environmental movement has been co-opted by global elites who are using the climate crisis not to protect the planet, but to reshape the world order to their liking. The World Economic Forum, WEF, the United Nations, and influential figures like Bill Gates are frequently named as architects of this so-called green takeover. Their speeches at summits, glossy reports, and sweeping plans for a sustainable future are seen by conspiracy theorists not as solutions but as manifestos for control. One of the most cited examples is the WEF's now infamous phrase, "You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy." While originally part of a speculative scenario about the sharing economy in 2030, it has since become a rallying cry for those who believe climate policy is being used to dismantle personal ownership, crush small businesses, and enforce reliance on centralized systems. Initiatives like the Great Reset are viewed through this lens not as post-COVID economic recovery strategies, but as elite attempts to reboot capitalism in a way that consolidates power and erodes national sovereignty. According to the theory, these solutions to climate change are less about ecological urgency and more about engineering a compliant global citizenry, digitally managed, environmentally guilt-tripped, and economically controlled. In this narrative, the elite class, those flying to climate summits in private jets, are not hypocrites by accident, but rulers by design, creating a green-coded future they won't be subject to themselves. Surveillance, tracking, and behavior control. One of the most unsettling aspects of this theory is the belief that the green agenda is laying the groundwork for a new form of digital surveillance, cloaked in environmental responsibility. It's no longer just about saving the planet. It's about tracking your every move in the name of sustainability. According to this view, emerging technologies like smart meters, carbon footprint trackers, and digital IDs are not just tools for convenience or data collection, they're systems designed to monitor and control individual behavior. Proponents of the theory argue that, under the guise of reducing emissions, governments and corporations are building the infrastructure for a climate-based social credit system. Take the concept of 15-minute cities, urban plans where everything you need is within a 15-minute walk or bike ride. On the surface, it's about convenience, reducing emissions, and revitalizing local communities. But to skeptics, it's a cleverly branded strategy for mobility restrictions. The fear is that once such zones are implemented, authorities could begin tracking how far people travel, restricting vehicle usage, or issuing fines for exceeding carbon limits, all enforced through digital IDs and geofencing technologies. Add to that proposals for personal carbon allowances, where each citizen could be assigned a carbon budget tracked via app, and suddenly the idea of going green takes on a very different tone. In this scenario, freedom of movement, consumption, and even diet could become subject to digital approval. While these systems are often promoted as voluntary and data-driven, critics argue that they normalize the idea of constant environmental surveillance, gradually shifting the public toward accepting intrusive control as the price of ecological responsibility. Stop. If you like this video, please give us a like, leave a comment behind, and don't forget to subscribe, since we have a new video every day. And now, let's roll back to the video. Debunking the control narrative. While the idea of a hidden agenda behind environmental policies is compelling to some, it's important to separate fear-driven speculation from evidence-based reality. The climate crisis is not a fabrication, it is a well-documented, scientifically validated phenomenon supported by overwhelming data across thousands of studies, research institutions, and national agencies worldwide. Most green initiatives, like energy-efficient buildings, public transportation improvements, and reducing fossil fuel dependency, are not designed to strip away freedom, but to prevent ecological collapse and ensure long-term survival. Concepts such as 15-minute cities, smart grids, or carbon footprint tracking are often optional or experimental, and they aim to address real problems like traffic congestion, urban pollution, and energy waste. Critics may point to future dystopian uses of such technologies, but intention matters, and there's little evidence that these tools are being widely weaponized for population control. As for claims about elites enforcing rules they themselves ignore, hypocrisy certainly exists, and scrutiny of power is healthy. But hypocrisy is not proof of conspiracy. The fact that some high-profile figures fail to live by their own green rhetoric doesn't negate the urgency of climate action for the rest of the world. Additionally, many climate policies are not crafted by mysterious global cabals, but through publicly debated, democratically implemented legislation, often with broad scientific consultation and public involvement. And far from being centralized, many effective climate movements have been grassroots in nature, led by communities, activists, scientists, and everyday people, not shadowy elites. Ultimately, while skepticism is valuable, especially in an age of unchecked power and profit, conflating real environmental efforts with authoritarian control can undermine necessary action and distract from the true threats. Corporate pollution, political inaction, and the rapidly closing window to keep our planet habitable. Conclusion. The theory that the green agenda is just a control tool taps into a deep and often justified distrust of powerful institutions, especially in a world where surveillance and inequality are growing. It's not hard to see why some people view climate policies with suspicion, especially when buzzwords like the Great Reset and 15-minute cities are poorly communicated or implemented in ways that lack transparency. But when we peel back the layers of fear and speculation, we find a more complex truth. Yes, we should question power. Yes, we should call out hypocrisy. But rejecting all environmental action as a front for authoritarian control risks throwing the planet out with the bathwater. Climate change is real, and solving it requires tools, policies, and cooperation on a global scale. The real danger isn't that the green agenda is fake. It's that we might be too distracted by conspiracies to recognize when meaningful, science-backed action is actually needed. In a time of rising sea levels, mass extinctions, and record-breaking heat, perhaps the real conspiracy is doing nothing at all.